Hello, you beautiful people out there. What is going on? This is your friend Brady coming at you fast with another Beast Builds video. And today we are going to be looking at Greystone, the Golden Guardian. This guy is pretty awesome to play. Alright, he's really tanky, and at the same time, he can deal a good amount of damage. With his basic attacks and with his AoE. We'll go into actually how to play him in our in-depth hero guide. This video is about his build, so let's actually go into it. He's pretty cool. Greystone demonstrates prowess in an open challenge. That's his taunt right there. Pretty nifty. Let's get into his deck. So we're actually going to do something different this time. We're going to build his deck straight up from the ground up. I am going to show you guys real quick what the deck consists of. It is pretty convoluted, which is why we're going to go through it together. And I will put a finalized deck build in the description as well, so you guys can check that out if you don't want to watch the video. But here's like an overview of the cards. You guys could pause the videos, take a look at these cards that I have right here. But they won't really make much sense unless you listen to how I build him. So let's actually make a new deck for our Dovahkiin champion. I'll go ahead and press new deck. For, I don't know, where is he? Where's that? There we go. Greystone. We're going to make one straight from scratch. And we're going to go with the Warlord. Now, this is actually up to you. It depends on whether you want to build him more tanky. I'm going to build him more hybridy. So we're going to go with the Warlord prime card in this case. You can go with the Centurion if you want to go 100% tanky with him. But he's not the best tank in my opinion because he doesn't have any crowd control abilities. But again, we'll leave that up to the guide itself. So let's actually get into this. So you want to usually start off with a health potion, a strike token, and a harvester key with Greystone, especially if you're going to be jungling with him. He is a pretty decent jungler. If you're not going to be jungling with him, then you can just go a second strike token instead of a harvester key. And that's usually a good start with him. Now, the reason I'm going to be building this deck hybrid is because I do play in upper echelon games. I do play against the top 1% people in the world, and you do need a lot of sustainability, especially late game, and Brawlers aren't really good damage-wise late game. And a lot of people are saying, build him attack, speed, damage, crit chance, and lifesteal, and he's a beast. He might be a beast against people who are not paying attention and who are not team fighting, but in a team fight, he will get soloed out and killed very, very quickly. Even with his ult, he'll just die twice, so there's really no point in that. So the first thing that we're going to build on him are these consumables, and then we're going to go into a card called Quartz Blade. Now, this deck requires a couple of Quartz Blades, 3 to be exact. If you don't have 3, that's okay. You can substitute it with stuff like Adamant Edge instead. But the reason we want Quartz Blade is because it gives us physical damage, a little bit of mana regen, which is just an added bonus. You don't really need it, and more health right off the bat. And then the full upgrade bonus is even more health, which is really good because what we're going to do in the beginning is we're going to upgrade this with 3 1-point cards. Now, this could be a mix of whatever you'd like, but let's go ahead and say that we want to build him a bit more tanky this in the beginning. So what I usually do is I go with 2 lesser healths and 1 minor strike. Okay, so I go a Quartz Blade with 2 lesser healths and 1 minor strike. Let's actually slot this in here so you guys could see it better. So 2 lesser healths and then 1 minor strike. Okay, this is how you want to build your first Quartz Blade. Let's go ahead and link and add that. Now, the second card that you want to add could be up to you. Now, I usually go Adamant Edge. If your team really needs wards, you can go with wards instead. Usually in higher level play, you want to go with wards early on in the game. But we're going to save wards for later, just because if your team really doesn't need wards, it's best to go with Adamant Edge first before wards. So we're going to add an Adamant Edge now, and we're going to add it with 2 minor strikes and 1 lesser health. So we're going to do the reverse of what we did with Quartz Blade. Quartz Blade, we did 2 lesser healths, 1 minor strike. Here with Adamant Edge, we're going to do 2 minor strikes, 1 lesser health. So in the beginning, we're just building up our damage and our health, because early game, heroes don't really do too much damage, especially rangers even, because they don't come online until later. So building health is probably the best thing you can do in the beginning because it saves you against minion damage. It also saves you a lot against both damage types. You don't really have to focus against physical or energy damage right off the bat in the beginning of the game. You can focus against both by having more health. More health is always good. So, yeah, with this build, you get 3,000 health by 20 minutes into the game, which is a lot for early game. So the third item that we're going to build is going to be another Quartz Blade. So let's go over to our equipment, which we are at already. We are going to build another Quartz Blade, which is right here. And this time we're going to build it with 2-point cards. So again, if you want to go a bit more healthy, you can go with 2 healths and 1 strike. This is if you want to make sure you have 3,000 health. When I say 3,000, I mean about 3,000, so give or take 100, 150, okay? we're going to go with this one. You could, if you like, you could go 2 strikes and 1 health, but you do want to make another mixture of strikes and health. So there is your third card. So you have an upgrade card with 3 1s in it. You have an equipment card with 3 1s in it. And then you have another equipment card, this time with 3 2s in it. Okay, your fourth item is going to be a ward. Usually you want to go with Guardian's Ward. I still don't have a flippin' Guardian Ward, man. Okay, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but I don't have a Guardian Ward. RNGesus hates me, so we're going to go with Brawler's Ward instead, and we're just going to build this with 3 strikes because we do want some damage on him for wave clear and just for pestilence, because you don't want to do absolutely no damage because then people won't divert their attention to you. You want to deal enough damage to where people feel threatened enough to change their target onto you into a team fight. That's exactly what you want to happen because you're building so tanky at the same time, plus you have your ultimate that gives you a res, so you want to be able to deal enough damage to where people are noticing you and that you're not just pointless waste of space there and people could just ignore you. Okay, now your 5th and 6th items are going to be defensive items. This is where you're going to add your guard and your barrier. So we're going to go over to tuned barrier. Now you could try bright steel plate if you want some. Where the fuck is it? Oh, we're going to do temporary plate and tuned barrier. There we go. You could try bright steel plate if you want crits chance. It didn't really work out well for me. I just decided to build more health and more resistance. So with this, we're just going to go with 3 greater guards because we already have so much health built into this deck. And then same thing with the tuned barrier. We're going to go 3 greater barriers. And you want to go 3 greater barriers just in case the other enemy, just because the enemy might build some penetration, some physical penetration, some energy penetration, which is why you want to go with 3 graders, even though it passes the soft cap of 242 total. So we're going to link and add that. And now we have 6 cards, but this is not the full 60 points. So we're going to now trade out some cards because late game has arrived. And all those cards that we had earlier on in the game that were 1-pointers slotted into, we need to change those now. So now we go another Quartz Blade, and we're going to replace this Quartz Blade right here that had all of the 1-pointers in it. Okay, so we're going to go with another Quartz Blade. This is going to be the 3rd Quartz Blade in this deck, and we are actually going to go ahead and replace everything with, if I did my math correctly, we're going to replace it now with, instead of 2 minor healths and 1 minor strike, we're going to go with 2 healths and 1 strike. We're going to replace it with 2 pointers, and then Adamant Edge, we're going to go ahead and replace that with another Adamant Edge that you're going to build on later on in the game. Let's go ahead and pick it up. There we go. And you are going to replace that with whatever you had in there. So if you had 1 health and 2 strikes in there, now you're going to replace it with 1 greater health and 2 major strikes. And that's how we're going to do it in the end. That's how we're going to go do it through it. So in the end, let's do some math to make sure I didn't mess up somewhere, because I'm not looking at a sheet whatsoever, guys. I'm doing this all off the top of my dome. Every single one of these builds I memorize and then do it because that way I know it better myself and I can explain it better. So let's just do some math. So you have 12 total points from Tuned Barrier, then you have 24 after Tempered Plate, then you have 33 after Quartz Blade. Okay, then you have now you have 42 after this Quartz Blade. You have 51 after this, and then you have, okay, so now you have 3 extra. Okay, so you have 3 extra. So instead of going 3, instead of doing majors, all right, here's what we're going to do. Instead of doing majors, we're just going to do regulars, okay? And it works out well like that, okay? Now let's go ahead and do the math again. Okay, we're not counting these first Adamant Edge and Quartz Blade because that's not in the final build, all right? Out of 60 points, right, you have 9 from the Adamant Edge, then you have another 9 from the Brawler's Ward, that's 18, then you have 27 after this Quartz Blade, then you have 36, then you have 48, and then you have 60, and now we have a full 60 card build at the end of our deck. And I want to start doing that with all of my builds because I did mess up one of my builds, which was actually, I think, my Chimera build, where I actually had 63 points instead of 60, and I had to change it in the description. So this is like a verification to show you guys can count with me. If I did mess up my counting, please tell me in the comment section below so I can change it in the description of this video, because I'm always trying to make these guides better and better before the full game releases so I can make the best quality content for you guys. So that's about it. So hopefully you guys understood the reasoning behind all this. It's a very simple hero to play, very simple hero to build as well. Just damage, defense, and health. Alright, now a lot of people are going to say you should build attack speed, you should build lifesteal. Now attack speed is nice and lifesteal is a good combo with attack speed, of course. But ever since the crit nerf, lifesteal has been way less useful on melee characters, and they should only be used on people such as Grux, or maybe even Feng Mao, people that are really offensive with their kit and build. Greystone is pretty defensive. He doesn't have any CC either. Okay, he's not like Grux who has a pull and an escape. He just has like a leap that could be used as an escape or an engage, but he has no crowd control, he has no slows, he has no roots, he has no stuns. So that is why going, attack speed and lifesteal against good players on the other team might not be useful, because all you have for your engage is your leap. And if you're playing against a good twin blast, he'll be able to keep you at distance initially, and then he'll be able to dash away from you when you do leap in on him. So you'll be able to be out-CC'd by almost any hero in the game as Greystone because you have no CCs of your own. So building lifesteal is nice, but you have to be able to get in close in the first place to be able to land those hits, which usually does not bode well against better people that play the game a lot and know how to counter those kind of things. So that's why health and armor definitely help you in the long run. Plus, I mean, if you die, who cares if you die? You have res again, and then you're tanky again, so you can just keep on tanking for your fight and just be all guacamole. So there you guys have it. Hopefully you enjoyed this build. Hopefully you guys like this new way of doing it. A lot of you guys requested me building it from scratch. A lot of you guys wanted me in the description and all this stuff, and I built these videos up to this point. So dropping a like would really, really show your appreciation. It would really let me know that you guys really enjoy these videos and that they help a lot. And if you did get to this point in the video, make sure to comment Fus Roda. If you played Skyrim, you know exactly what that means. If you don't, just try and spell it out as best as you can. I will put a caption showing you how to spell it if you did get it at this point. And as always, make sure you all have a wonderful day, like a gray stone.